So I placed an order from the book outlet, and I actually ended up doing 2 orders because their coupon didn't work. Belly is in timeout in my lap. Arabelle has been trying to attack her sister because they both have spring fever, and she has to sit in my lap until she gets over it. We're just gonna sit here and wait, Arabelle. You gonna be nice? They have plenty of toys. They're so spoiled, and they're like really pampered house cats. So they feel like they need to be really bratty because they're pampered house cats. And whenever I get busy or sit down to do something like this, is when they act up. Okay. Anyway, as I was saying, I ended up doing a couple orders from the book outlet, which is apparently based out of Ontario, Canada. They give a free coupon for your first order, $5 off, and that's the price of a lot of their books. It's about $5. It's comparable to the books on the sales tables at Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, if you patron those places. And I couldn't get the coupon code to work though the first time, so I just had to place an order back to back. But shipping is free if you order over $35. So I really was excited to learn that there's basically a discount that's cheaper than Amazon, discount online bookstore, because in this economy that really helps feed my habit. And I'll just go through the books that I got, and I've lost my glasses. Oh, here they are. So I think a couple vlogs back, I talked about my winter fiction that I was going to read, and I did read The Hazelwood. This is the next in the series. It's called The Night Country, and it's by Melissa Albert. And I loved Hazelwood. It was the best dark fairy tale set in a forest, other realm. Those of you who like liminal spaces and portals and really creepy childhood tales coming back to kind of haunt you in young adulthood, The Hazelwood is a wonderful, wonderful dark fairy tale. I think it's listed, it depends on your bookstore, it's listed under new adult, but it's also young adult too. But I felt like it was very adult. I don't know why or how they're listing books as they are, but they are. And this is the second one by Melissa Albert in that series. I think it could also be a standalone if you just wanted to read The Hazelwood, but I love her writing style. So I ended up getting this one. And again, I love the whole fairy tale motif. I also got, if you read Hazelwood, you'll know that there's a trope in there, like a fairy tale book trope thing. And these are kind of the extended tales from that. So I got this too. And Tales from Hinterland. Hinterland is the magical, mystical, dark fairy tale realm that is very much in Hazelwood. And this is the backbone of the whole story, the whole mythos that the author created, again by Melissa Albert. Oh, and this is like the prettiest book. I like the hardback edition. I'm glad I got the hardback. I don't know if there was a hardback edition of this one though. But look at the back cover. I love filigree and stuff like that. So whenever there's a book with filigree, I kind of just pick it up anyway. Whether I think I'm going to buy it or not, I always give it a look over because it catches my eye. So secondly, or thirdly rather, are Crooked Hearts by Melissa Albert. I love her writing style. Now this is not in the same world. It's a different world, but I like it because the theme sounds really interesting. It's kind of, again, it's another supernatural thriller. This is more of a supernatural thriller though than a dark fairy tale. So if you want dark fairy tale meets supernatural thriller, I haven't read this yet, but this is basically the gist that I'm getting off of the back. It's about a 17-year-old girl who she's with her soon-to-be ex-boyfriend, and they see, I guess, a nude woman standing on the side of the road, and that sets off a series of events where it kind of goes into her childhood and her relationship with her mother, and it sounds really, really eerie. She starts finding all these weird things and starts having all these I guess creepy synchronicities. So, but this This sounds very compelling, and again, another beautiful cover, but I really like her writing style. I really like her descriptions. I think that's what sells me on this author. I like her descriptions of the whole setting. So now this one I got because it had a cat on the front and it's about a library. And I thought it would be really cute. It is more of a children's book, obviously, but it's very, very cute. It's a cute book. And I do like stuff like this. It's kind of, I don't know, it kind of has like a fantasy feel to it. It is about a cat. It's about a cat in a library. Oh, here, I'll just read the flap. When a mysterious little free library guarded by a large orange cat like Avery over there appears overnight in the small town of Martinsville, 11-year-old Evan plucks 2 weathered books from its shelves, never suspecting that his life is about to change. So I think that this is just, yeah, it just sounds very riveting and like an adventure you would love to have in childhood. It reminds me kind of some of the books that I read when I was a kid, so I just had to pick it up because I love books about cats anyway, and childhood and libraries. I worked in libraries for like 10 years in my 20s, so libraries are near and dear to my heart. And again, beautiful book. And okay, so I know this one has been all over, like all of BookTube and everything, but Belladonna, I got this one because I saw this one actually on the YouTube channel that recommended the book outlet, first of all. And I think it was, I'll read what she's reading. And I noticed that one of the books they picked was Belladonna. And I've thought about reading this one. I just haven't picked it up yet because there was always other books in front of it that I wanted to read. So I'm really interested in how this book, there's a lot of, again, very supernatural fairy tale elements to it. Adlin Grace, you've probably seen lots of reviews of it, but again, it's about a young girl kind of coming of age story, and those are always intriguing. They can be very kind of stressful to read too, if you had your own very stressful coming of age story. But it was $5. This was one of the ones that I think was $5.90 something or $5.65. I don't remember the exact price, but $5 range book. And I think there were others by this author as well, if you're reading the entire series. So this is the first. There's a second called Foxglove. So I got that. And then I had not heard of this one before. It's The Waking Forest. And again, it just sounds like another really good book about a forest, like a haunted forest, a supernatural forest, dark fairy tale. It sounds really, really good. And the themes are there's a witch in the forest and just really, all those things that you would think about in regards to childhood and dark fairy tales and stuff like that. I guess I could read the front cover. To Ray, it appears like a mirage, dark and dense at the very edge of her backyard. When she reaches out to touch it, the forest vanishes. She's desperate to know more until she finds a peculiar boy who offers to reveal secrets, if she plays a game. To the witch, the forest is home, where she sits on her throne of carved bones, waiting for dreaming children to beg her to grant their wishes. One night, a mysterious visitor arrives and asks her what she wishes for, but the witch sends him away. And then the uninvited guests return. Strangers are just the beginning. Something is stirring in the forest. So it just sounds really, really compelling because what fairy tale about a forest isn't compelling? So yeah. And again, it's a hardback book. And this one, I think, was $5. So the nonfiction I got, a gardening, big surprise. I did get one that wasn't a gardening book or about plants. And I really am into color theory, and I've done a couple videos on this before in regards to bed sheets that do not collect cat hair, because apparently it's my life mission to find bed sheets that are comfortable and soft and they don't collect cat hair. And I have found some. So, but I'm also really picky about color and how I decorate. Like I I don't like a lot of just the plain, like what you call medium colors. I either tend to like pastels or something dark and dramatic, and the under, like the shades and the hues have to match. Like I don't like it when colors don't match. That's a big pet peeve because I'm really sensitive to color and always have been. So this one color that is my favorite color, periwinkle's my favorite color, and it falls in this range of blue. So when I saw this, I had to get this. And it's just a nonfiction book about the color of blue, the historical significance, how we see blue, the science of how our eyes actually picks up blue. And blue is kind of a rare color to occur in nature. So I thought this was just really compelling. And even though blue really inspires a lot of artists, it's not something that we find a lot in nature. If you think about like wildflowers, they're usually yellow or red or pink or even purple over blue, like a true blue flower. We've got cultivars now, but it can be a little bit difficult, a little bit tricky to find in the wild. So I just thought that this was just, I like to read books about color theory anyway, because I've always loved art. So that was intriguing. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. I think it's Kupferschmidt. And the two books that I did get, I have cat hair all over my face now. The two books that I did get, 3 books, sorry. One's more about insects, but I did get a book on garden alchemy. And this is mainly about everything from soil maintenance to making seed bombs to propagation of plants to how to fight fungus gnats and stuff like that. And I just thought that this would come in handy because, and I'll just flip through and just show you some pages, but this is the kind of reference book that you can find on Book Outlet. And there were other types of reference books. It's just that I'm usually going to get a garden book because I can actually use them. And I love pictures of flowers. Composting tea? Yeah, I don't think you want to drink that. So yeah, I found that this was just a really interesting book with lots of little projects. And again, garden alchemy. And I think this one was a $5 book. I think the last one I'll show, I think was the most expensive one because I think it's a coffee table book. I think it may have been $11. So let's see, the Book of Killer Plants. This one I was the most excited about, honestly, because I'm now doing a poison path garden, which, you know, is the foxglove, the datura, and stuff like that. So belladonna. So even some of the herbs that are more nighttime herbs, but not necessarily poisonous, it's just kind of a catch-all. So, but these are really seriously like toxic and poisonous plants, and it's a whole basically just field guide. Moonseed, that grows out here. I found it. I've actually taken pictures of this. I've ID'd this and taken pictures of it and put it on my Instagram. And it's found in the park over here. So another one. They do have some mushrooms, which is really good to, especially if you're a forager, which I don't recommend doing unless you actually have a degree in botany or you understand that fungi is a completely different kingdom, even from plants. So it does have the poisonous mushrooms in here. They're not in color, though. I would not be eating mushrooms. One that we have an abundance of out here is it had the, here it is. Death cap. Oh, and this one, Destroying Angel. Yeah, that will kill you. So they're the huge, big white ones that you see. all over the woodlands on the East Coast especially. It has, poison hemlock. For gardeners, there was a lot of information that came out about water hemlock, poison water hemlock a few years ago. Actually, I think it was just 3 years ago. And also things that we don't, maybe some parts of the plant are edible and some parts are not, and it's good not to actually ingest it, especially if you're not, you know, into it as a profession, into foraging or botany as a profession. Pokeweed, if you're in the South, you know what that is. Mayapple. Oh, this one. We have the Devil's Club, or the Devil's Walking Stick. I have some out here. And it's a native plant. It makes beautiful flowers, but you don't want to touch it. It has thorns all up and down the trunk. It's a small shrub tree. Okay, other things in here. Morning Glory, which it does have a hallucinogenic properties, but it is toxic. So I know that some people will eat the seeds. Don't do that. Oh, here's one that's blooming out, or was blooming out right now. Yellow jessamine. I've grown this before. So just things you wouldn't think about that are poisonous. And of course, why would you go around putting in your mouth? But people do that. Kids do that because they're not taught the difference. I think I was one of the last generations to actually get an education in poisonous plants, just from playing outside and having grandparents that had gardens, vegetable gardens. So this is Datura. It's called Jimson weed around here, and it does grow in the wild. This is what I'm going to be putting. I have 2 different species of it that I'll be putting in my garden bed that I have reserved for these types of plants. So this was probably, honestly, milkweed too for humans. Milkweed is poisonous. It's wonderful for monarchs. I grow it, I have a bed of it, but you don't want to eat this as a human being. Not a good idea. So I think this was really, really good find. I had not heard of this book before. So when the book outlet had it, I was really surprised to just find a new book I didn't know about. This is my favorite one that I got. And it was, I think, $11 or $12. It was a coffee table book. And Bees, Heroes of the Garden. I love bees. Like, I have a meadow and I garden for pollinators. I used to do a lot more vegetable gardening, but now I don't. It's all just either some type of herb that I'm growing, or it's pollinators. So these are my container gardens. I grow a lot of salvia for the hummingbirds, but the bees are so fun to watch. All the different native bees, from the common eastern bumblebees to the carpenter bees that we have around here, are really fun. And there's lots of really good, I'll have to find a really good picture. I love the photography. And it says what sort of bee it is, what kind of bee it is, but it has really cool, I mean, it's a beautiful book, especially if you're a fan of bees, you do any type of gardening. Look at this one. And my favorite bees are the orchid bees. I'll see if I can find a picture of one. I mean, just beautiful pictures and beautiful flowers. Oh, this is pretty. So again, if you're a nature lover and you garden for pollinators, if you've made your backyard a meadow like I have, then this is a must-have, because it's just it's a really pretty book to put on your coffee table. And the inside is the same. So it's so pretty. Yeah, and there's lots of information about beehives and stuff like that, different types of beehives and stuff. But it's mainly just bees from all over the world. So yeah, this was all, and I'll hold them all up so you can see the spines. And wow, this is gonna be heavy. Can you see that? So yeah, this is my haul from the Book Outlet. So check them out, and I think they still have the $5 coupon. I don't know. This is not a sponsored video, obviously. I'm not cool enough for anyone to sponsor, but there you go. I didn't know there was a discount online bookstore like that, and I'm glad that I found them. Have a great day.